Take three of create. All right, I've got three quick things. I'm not really gonna. This is not a rehearsal. These are notes again. It's Monday morning, and I was just listening to a podcast as I was taking Luca to school. Got three quick things. One of them is, did you hear that? I was listening to a podcast. So I'm always taking in. I am consuming. I know I'm talking about creating, but there is that intake. There is the filling the creative well. Absolutely a must. I by no means do I meet create, produce, make, do all that stuff, all that outpouring all the time. Absolutely not. There's got to be a intake session, and in fact, I really am a fan of. I mean, this is just me. I'm a morning person. Create in the morning, bring in the afternoon. So sort of like it's almost before noon and afternoon. Before noon, get it out, and then after noon, let it in. So that's point number one. Point number two, he said at some point, I was listening to a podcast of Brian Cohen's. He said, uh, nonfiction, especially sort of self help stuff and personal development, that kind of thing, people tend to listen to, well, for one, they listen to audio, kind of cool. So if you're thinking, oh, writing, I'm not writing. Here, look at me, I'm making a video, I'm making audio here. This is not the same as writing. I think it comes from a different part of our brain or somewhere in our body. And it comes out in a different way and it reaches also in a different way, right? I mean, even physically through the ears. So I was listening to this podcast and here I am creating with video and audio. So that's how that works. So he was talking about how nonfiction, we tend to read everything in a genre. So we have everything in one place and we read it all. So there's 10 books on the topic. Hey, doggy. Hey, huncha. Martha. So there's ten books on the topic, and they'll read them all because they want, I don't know, the different angles. And this is sort of a sidetrack point, but it's the point where if you think, oh, that topic was already taken, oh, that message was already delivered, and I think no, I think there's again with a radio dial where let's say the entire radio frequency bandwidth is from 89.5 to 106.7, and that is pick your topic. What I do, transformational nonfiction. So there is all kinds of wavelengths, and you are going to connect in with a certain one. So from the creator's perspective, all you need to do is find that one frequency where you resonate, where you can then resonate with the listener or with the reader or with the watcher or with the whatever. Okay, so remember, people, especially in nonfiction, they listen to everything along the spectrum of the bandwidth. So this is good news, right? I mean, it's true. Also, I do it in fiction. I might read my favorite author, right? But in nonfiction, well, I want to hear that guy. He's a rock star. I want to hear this person. That's a different attitude. Oh, this person's new. I'll hear it. I'll listen to that too. So I'll listen to their different perspectives, and I'll usually get something out of everything. Maybe more from that guy, less from her. That's fine. So as a creator, that's a huge mind shift jump to think like that. To not think, oh, that frequency is taken. No, there are so many frequencies. Find your frequency, target that. There will be whoosh, listeners. Okay? Hey, doggies. All right, lots of doggies going on. Okay, his third point. I had a third point, I swear. We had consuming, then we had all of the nonfiction spectrum, whereas a fiction, maybe you do your one thing. Oh, yeah. He was talking about how one of the Claire, the co-host, was talking about how from her college days, from the ones who were in literary in her writer circles, how she's the only one who's still writing. And so her point was back in the literary day, back in the literary day, back in sort of the university traditional version of publishing and creating and writing and literature and highbrow, and that was, it has to be hard, it has to be difficult, it has to be fantastic and perfect and have 18 volumes of the greatest award-winning literature ever known to the history of the world. And when you're going up against those obstacles, you're first of all, you're probably not going to do it. You're just going to give up. Come on, Pepper Chips. Come on, Pips. Hello, Marcia. He's pretty mad. So seeing that, and again, here I am talking about create, whereas maybe for many, create is a huge obstacle because they're creating towards perfection. And I clearly, I don't think this is the case. Here am I. I'm on take number 3 of a presentation I'm making for the presentation called Create, but then I'm also in parallel working on the book called Create. So here I am making this video here. It's really for my own sake. It's for my own doing. It's for my own uh, draft. It's getting, we're back to Hemingway, right? 95 pages of crap to get to 5 pages of goodness. Well, are you willing to do the 95 pages of crap? Frankly, I also don't believe it's 95. I think the better you get, the less the percentage of the crap to the great stuff, right? So his theory, by the way, was you write 95 pages of crap to get the 5 pages of good stuff. But his main point was you can't just say, well, I'm just going to write the 5 pages of good stuff. You've got to write the crap. So I do believe in that to some extent, in that you got to let it out. You got to create. You got to see. You create. You know, if you're using his numbers, 9 or 10 things, and 8 or 9 are going to be bad. I think, well, I think the percentages can get better as you get in better shape and you get better at it. But still, there's going to be crap. I mean, is this video presentable? Is this one like I'm going to put up on YouTube as my, create presentation? No way. These are like notes to self. All right, that was it. Speaking of notes to self, it was another create item. It was just pouring. It's cold. I have a phone call in an hour I need to prepare for. I don't have time to do this, but I needed to get these 3 ideas out. And I got to tell you, I've been here for what, 5, 6 minutes? This already, I feel better. I feel a step forward because I pushed this out. You see that? I'm walking the talk. I'm getting this stuff out, and it helps, and I feel better. And the content, the final product is going to be better for it. This is take 3 for create. What do you think, Peps?